All right. I'm definitely going to make a hardcore video. A lot of people are not going to want to, well, not a lot of people, but people who have a problem with things that I'm probably going to say are not going to want to watch this. Not this one, but my next one, that's probably super long. Look at what I had to do, all right? I'm a farmer. I'm working on a field. It's a field. I had my friend come over, cut a slit me already so that I could protect it because I wanted to burn some stuff. DEQ says I could burn it. Department of Agriculture says I could burn it because it all fits within it, right? I had one dumb guy come out here and tell me I can't burn it, even though every other person I talked to said it's no problem, including other local fire departments, which makes no sense because my neighbor right there burns stuff. And I think he's literally across the road, so he's in a different town than me. That's how dumb it is. And then I saw all these videos burning, which I need to add that to it. Like, everybody's burning. But somehow fire is different than other fire. Burning's different than other burning. And all of this retarded information that's on the internet because everybody writes their own codes. Nobody will talk to each other, and different people can have different ideas. And it's all personal, based on some stupid experience. I got 300,000 years of experience sitting on my butt. That's so irrelevant, bro. We should have codes and you should follow codes. That's why you have a job, you're getting paid, and you work for us, Oregon, and the people of Oregon that pay your bills. And if you don't believe that, you should lose your job. That's exactly what the standard should be. 1, are you smart enough to do the job? 2, do you understand what the codes are and who you work for? 3, do you actually work for Oregon and the people of Oregon, and are you ready to? Especially if you're in any kind of a position of authority, which includes the police, firefighters, maybe not like the normal firefighters, because those guys always are kicking ass and there ain't no problem with them. I used to be a volunteer firefighter for several years. One of my kids is literally out there risking his life to save people in other states, to try to protect them from their houses burning. And I think he's in Colorado right now, so he's a real firefighter out there kicking butt and actually doing something. He's not just some government bureaucrat sitting on his butt all day in an office making up fake crap. And the way you know it's made up is when they tell it to you like 20 different ways. Oh, they lost the first way. Okay, now it's something else. Oh, they lost the second way. Oh, now we got to say something else. Oh, it's got to be the third way because we've lost so many times. Now we got to make something else up. Oh, it's some kind of a risk, okay? Let me just tell you a secret. This is gonna be the short version. There's a road right there. My neighbor, okay, he has all of his grass seed done. He's got everything finished. My neighbor over there, that guy does something other than grass seed, but every other neighbor around me has non-burnable material because it's dirt like that right there. Pretty sure dirt doesn't burn. And all I was trying to do is burn stuff to expand my field. You can kind of see I already took it out, all right? Like 40 feet, 50 feet going down this whole path. There's a bunch of like sticks. Oh, this is probably gonna break my thing. Let me see, somebody called me. No, it's still working. There's a bunch of sticks, there's a bunch of brambles, there's some little pieces of grass, there's grass over there in the corner, there's crap in the ditch. All of that is material in this field that DEQ said I could burn, all right? And Department of Agriculture said it's no problem. When this guy came out here the first time, he said, I'm not giving you permission to burn it. Why? Because he said it was backyard and barrel burning. I told him I'm a farmer. I told him I can burn it because DEQ, it's on their list and DEQ says I can burn it. He doesn't believe me. Look at this field, all right? Guy's an idiot. So then I finally proved to him, DEQ says yes. All these other places say yes, and I recorded conversations and I sent it to him and I said, listen to me, my man, you don't make these decisions. It's online, it's on a website, you're supposed to follow rules. Makes sense, right? You're supposed to follow rules. It's not your choice what is classified as burnable based on your personal 30 years of experience, because that means jack shit. Exactly that, jack shit. Especially when it's written down by Oregon that tells you to look at these rules and follow them. So it's classified, all right? It follows the rules. Then he moves positions, right? So because I've won that battle, guess what? Now I can't burn it because he doesn't believe I'm a farmer, but he knows that it is that material if I'm a farmer, right? So what kind of a moron loses the first battle saying that it is the kind of material that could be burned if you can say that it's the kind of stuff that can be burned, And it's from a field just like this right here. This is all a field that's going to become part of a field. All right. I'm trying to expand so I can make more money as a farmer. All right. Finally, yes, it's classified by DEQ. He doesn't make that decision. I ask him straight up, you work for Department of Agriculture, bro? And he's totally ignoring me. I have to ask him like 20 times because he's talking to somebody else. That alone proves that he doesn't care. Plus, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. 30 years of experience of being a jackass sitting on his butthole doesn't mean anything to me because it's written down. That's the whole reason that we don't rely on people that don't know how to read, which is definitely him. Well, I guess I fall into that category too because I can't read either. But luckily, I read a lot of stuff before I lost part of my brain, and I sometimes remember quite a bit of it. And now I spit a lot. I don't know why I do that. Can't open my mouth right. All right, so basically, I live on a road. You can see, you've pretty much just been able to see it all. I'm the only house on my road, except for one other neighbor that doesn't even live in their house, and they're another 200 foot past mine. So what risk is there? That's all I'm asking you. This is basically my own private road here. You know how many people drive on this every day? Like 3, and at least 2 of those are me. You know how funny that is? Idiot. Now, the only other road that people drive on is over here, but that's, I don't know, 300-400 feet away from the fire that I cut a fire line to protect from going over that line, all right? So, I actually skipped some of this. Whoops. Let me go back in time briefly, all right? So I can just keep this normal. I call this guy. I did all this work because I have a partner. We're both farmers. Sometimes he comes over and I do some of the work, he does some of the work, that kind of thing. If that makes sense? So because I had this brain surgery and I was really worried about using $400,000 equipment on this field, I'm like, my man, if I forget what I'm doing, because this happens all the time, I'm literally driving around doing nothing and I crash into the ditch, cause us almost $500,000, then we both got a business. We're dead. Does that make sense? So I call this local fire department and I say, hey, fire chief, I got ag material. I'm burning it. He says, oh, that's not a problem. Here's the website, check it. If it says it's a burn day, then you can burn. Call me first though, just so I can kind of think about it. Maybe if I have time, I'll send a water tender over in case it gets out of control. All right, so it starts out real good, right? In the beginning, it's like no problem. 3 days later, guess what it is? Ag burning on the website he gave me. Make sense? Okay, I want to come take a look. He comes out and then he starts arguing with me and he tells me, hey man, you can't burn this. I'm not giving you permission. Actually, no, I lied. That's not what he said. He said, I am not giving you permission to burn this. All right? He used words very specific. So you know what that made me think? I started thinking about this and I'm like, my man, obviously he's using words for a reason. Words mean stuff. So I told him, I said, look, bro, I just had brain surgery. I do not understand what you're trying to tell me because you're trying to use fancy words. I need you to tell me yes or no. Can I burn this or no, I cannot burn this. That jackass looked right at my face and said, I can't answer you that way. I can't say it that way. Why? You can't say yes or no questions? That sounds stupid. I asked him that several times. I'm like, dude, look at my head. I can't think like you. I'm not on the same level. Just tell me yes or no. Because if you don't tell me yes or no, I'm not going to be able to stop looking into this and figuring out if you're wrong or right. He did not answer me, okay? Now, in my own head, what this told me is that he's lying to me, right? Obviously, he can't say yes or no because he doesn't have the authority to stop me burning. And on top of that, or he doesn't know what the code is, right? So I'm like, duh, he really doesn't know. He's just making up some stuff because he doesn't want me to burn. So I start figuring this out, right? I call the local, the next fire department that's right next to me where his authority ends. And I say, I want to talk to somebody who knows about agricultural burning, whatever's a higher level above a fire chief. And they go, okay, how about you talk to the fire marshal? And I say, great. I talk to the fire marshal. I explain the situation. I tell him what I have. Yes, you can burn. Oregon's protected. You can burn whenever you want to. Technically, if you looked at the website, it doesn't say you can never not burn. It just says, please don't burn on these days, but they never say don't burn. They say, hey, because of air quality,
we'd appreciate it if you burn a different day. But they never tell you you can't burn. That's the funny thing. So she tells me, Oregon protects farmers. You can burn whenever you want to. Okay. Why do you think all these fields light on fire and create massive plumes up in the sky when it's 100 degrees? Because I have videos of it. And they're burning trees. They're burning all the same stuff that I'm burning. Okay. Yet I can't burn. All right. And I'm definitely making a video about all of that stuff because it proves that that guy's a moron, period. Okay, whatever. So I ask her, I say, listen, all right, now I'm dealing with a guy and he's at a smaller fire department and she immediately goes, oh. And I'm thinking to myself, like, so obviously she's dealt with this person before and she goes, okay, well, he doesn't have the authority to tell you you can't burn. That's why we don't give it to one single person, because then we'd all die because no farmers would make food because it would be all these people that are too lazy to put a fire out or to let people burn. On and on and on. Okay, perfect. Who is in charge of making the rules on what you can burn? Guess what? DEQ. Okay, who else? There's one other place that I forgot for actual field burning. So I'm like, all right, cool, give me that number. So here's what I did. I call the local number that's in charge of whether you can burn or not, right? And the same number that I call that's on the website for this guy where I live is the exact same number that tells you the same thing. Do you know what it says? It says DEQ is the one in charge of whether you can burn or not. That's what they say on their website. So if that's wrong, they should change it because they're literally giving them the authority to make the decision. And it says there's a burn ban for backyard and barrel burning. That totally makes sense. I get it. All right. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about ag burning. It's on a whole nother level, right? So I say, okay. And then I look and the ag burning on their website, it says based on DEQ, it's not allowed or whatever. But I'm like, that doesn't make sense because they just put the same number over and over and over again because they're too lazy to update it. So then I go to the website they gave me that tells me the same information from Oregon, okay, that covers agricultural burning and it's from DEQ. Guess what it says? You can burn. Okay, that totally makes sense. Burning is between 10. Almost all of this information could be slightly inaccurate because I can't really speak right. But when I say it in my head, it sounds good. I can't tell if what I'm actually saying out of my lips is right. So because of this, I will make a very nice video with all the stuff covered because you're going to want to see evidence. And that makes way more sense, especially when you can see what I'm saying versus what you can actually see in real life and you can actually hear because I'm recording conversations. So basic. Okay. I call DEQ. They say all of it's included. Not a problem at all because when you are cleaning up your fence line and you're incorporating it into your field because you're going to expand your field, all of it's burnable. It's all classified as ag burning. Bam. So I call back the fire person and I say, listen, all right, I gotta figure out something because I asked you from the beginning a very basic question and I could have left it alone, but now I can't. So now it has to be clarified. You told me I can't burn because it's backyard burning. That is our problem, our first problem, right? That is the only problem. I said, okay, if I can classify this as ag burning, I can burn it and I'm burning today because it's a burning day. If you light that on fire, I will come over there and I will give you a piece of paper or something like that. And I'm like, what is that gonna do, bro? And he's like, I'm threatening you with a piece of paper. And I'm like, okay, a piece of paper is what? It's a piece of paper. Why do I care about that? No, I don't at all. What are you gonna do with that? Well, and he starts getting all frustrated, obviously, because he's an idiot. So I'm like, okay. So now you're getting all flustered because I can only speak one way. And I already explained to him that I could say half the words. This was like a week ago. I could say half the words that I can now. So now I don't sound probably like as much of a jackass. And I probably did a little bit, but I was also being honest. He said I can't burn. I proved to him that it's the right material and you can look at it on the website. He doesn't believe me. Okay? And I said, I don't care because you don't need to believe me. It's online, on the website, governed by DEQ in the state of Oregon. And if you're too lazy to look it up or you can't read, that's not my fault. That's not my problem, right? You should know these codes already, which you obviously don't. So do better. You know what I'm saying? Like do better. You need to do better. So I tell this guy, I say, I'm burning it today because it's a burn day and I'm not going to listen to you because you can't stop me. Literally, you can't stop me. So obviously he's getting all flustered. He's trying to figure out stuff and he says he's going to sue me. All right. That's what he says. So that's his last threat. I'm going to sue you and I'm going to come out there and give you a piece of paper. And I'm like, you're a dumb wiener. What are you going to do with a piece of paper? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, shut up, bro. He's like, I'm going to bring the sheriff. I'm going to bring the sheriff over here I'm going to bring the sheriff over here, and I'm like, what's he going to do about it? Give me my piece of paper? Well, he's just going to be there. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, you're full of nothing, dude. What authority do you have? Why don't you go fight actual fires and help people? You work for me. That's what I told him. That did not make him happy. So, proves to me even more that he's one of those boneheads that thinks he has all this authority. He can do whatever he wants. And we got to stop that, man. Nobody in our government should ever be there if they don't feel like, one, America is the best place to live. Two, they're going to work for us in America first. People that come from other countries don't matter. We matter first. You know who should matter? People that fought for our country. That should be number one every time. Second, we should build the best possible healthcare system for everybody here and get rid of all paper pushers that are wasting our money. Because I spent time over in other countries and I know how cheap stuff is over there compared to over here. All we're doing is getting ripped off because we were just full of paper pushers that are absolutely pointless. Three, we should take care of teachers. And what I mean by teachers is we should fire every single person that pushes paper, because every little town has its own little paper pushing department that is pointless. And all they do is move paper around, and it's a pointless job, and they make way more than teachers that are physically inside of a place teaching children. Okay, that alone would make a huge difference. Why have we created this massive bureaucracy? Our entire government should be about 10% of the size that it is. That'll solve 90% of the problems right then and there. You don't need all these people running around telling you what you can and can't do on the property that you're paying taxes on. Make sense? What rights do we have when they take them all away? And anybody that's voting to give all your rights away, why not just move to frickin' Cuba? Why not just move to frickin', I can't think of the place, but where Kim Jong-un lives? If that's what you want here in America, you obviously don't like America and you're an absolute moron. Just move there. It already exists. Just go there. Go there and see what happens. I guarantee what'll happen. You will not exist anymore. That's how fast it'll be. And the whole world will be better off for stupid people. I just can't understand. I know I'm getting way off tropic. Nah, I can't say that. So that's another thing that affects me is I cannot stay on track. And if I start getting off something, I have to finish it. Because if I can't stop thinking about it. Now I'm going to run out of time. 17-minute video, bro. This is nuts. Oh, yeah, okay. Did I get to level 2? Oh, yeah, I got to level 2. So after all that stuff happened, now he understands that I can burn this stuff. And what can he do to stop it? Because I just don't care. And I don't care about a stupid little piece of paper. All right? Then he's like, I'm just not going to talk to you anymore. Goodbye. So I try to, like, the next day or over the next couple of days, I try to call him because he keeps driving by my house. All right. Trying to figure out if I'm going to burn this thing with this stupid little piece of paper in his pocket. So now I'm starting to get stressed out because I have seizures and I have all these problems. And he keeps on driving by my house when he can literally see this place for miles. If I burned, he would see from his fire station that it's on fire. That's like a no-brainer. So what is 20 years of experience or whatever he's telling me? What is that? How does that even relevant when he doesn't even understand basic fire? Do you get that? That's so stupid, man. I hate it when people talk about that when they're just brain dead. What does that mean, dude? People are dumb and they have 40 years experience. They have 80 years experience. That doesn't mean anything. You're either good or you're not, period. Experience doesn't matter how long you've been sitting on your ass. I mean, come on, bro. Whatever. Move on from that. So then I start sending him an email. You know why? Because I'm like, this guy's just ignoring me, man. And I'm handicapped now. I have these problems. And he couldn't say yes or no. That's the dumbest part about what caused all this. He couldn't say yes or no. All right? Retarded. Literally retarded. Yeah. Okay. So guess what I do? I figure out who the state representative is in my area. I email her. She almost immediately gets back to me. And then I think to myself, why don't I CC that fire dude and email him and send the whole letter of what's happened? Because guess what I haven't done yet? I haven't started a fire. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm just being treated poorly, period. All right? So do you know who's still in the right? Me. Have I started one fire? No. The only person that looks like a jackass, that fire guy. All right? That's why I'm not going to start the fire. And I've done a lot of extra work, even though I believe that I should be able to start this fire. So obviously, they start calling this guy and they put the pressure on. So what do you think happens the next time I call him? Yes, sir. Can I help you, sir? Totally different person. All right. Then I say, my man, you know already that I can burn this material. How can you stop me? Prove it. Okay? He can't prove it. So guess what he asked me? Are you a farmer? I'm like, yes, I've told this to you from the first day. And then he starts asking me the same bull crap that's right on the internet about all these stupid things that he's asking me. How can you prove that you're a farmer? Blah, 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 blah. This is how you can become a farmer. Yep. I can prove it all. Do you know what he still says at the end of this? If you start that fire, I will come and I will sue you by giving you a piece of paper. You'll have to go to court and prove to the judge you're a farmer. And I'm like, duh, you stupid bitch. I can prove that, and I told you already I can. And in fact, why go that far? I can bring you the paperwork with the guy that I work with, and I'm the one that did all the work, and I own the field. Duh. Farmer. Can you not get that through your head? No. So, still, all right? Now we've moved from the kind of material it is, because he already knows he's a jackass, to the second one, which is now I've proven that he doesn't believe I'm a farmer. I can prove that I'm a farmer. He physically came out here, dude. Obviously, he's stupid. How can he be a fire chief and he's so dumb? I mean, you know, I'm saying things that I probably normally wouldn't because that's all I can say. It's the only way I can say it. And I'm trying to expose. I'm basically trying to show you how I feel about it because of how stupid it is. And normally I probably wouldn't talk this way because I think it's kind of rude to talk this way, but I have no other way to explain it at this point. Maybe in a couple months I get smarter, but I might be like this the rest of my life. Also, I'm extremely honest, and if I see you and you look like you're doing something dumb, I'm just going to straight up tell you. Because we need a lot more people that speak up, speak their mind, speak the truth, and tell people what's up. We need a lot less people like that fire chief who's a jackass. He doesn't try to help anybody. He doesn't tell me how I could do this. All he does is try to prevent me from doing this when there is thousands of acres burning around me, destroying the planet, burning trees, killing everything. And the one difference between me and them is that they are massive farmers and I have a much smaller operation, but they can burn, but I can't. How does that make sense to me? Okay. Because that fire chief, those guys don't even call him. They just do it. Do you know who wasn't there? Any of those fire department people. They weren't even around. And there was a massive fire. It was freaking nuts. So I'll put that on my other video because it just doesn't make sense. So either we have a bunch of really stupid people that are making laws, and that's part of the problem because it should be very straightforward, but also everybody's a bunch of pussies. The fire chief over here won't call that guy. I called another fire chief who said I could burn. They won't call that guy. Everybody's afraid of talking to each other. Liability. Liability. Just read the law. That's what you should do. You should follow the law. And if it's your own personal choice to say that you can't burn, then that's bullcrap. And I guess I'm the guy that's going to have to prove it to you. And then maybe you should get a different job or retire because you obviously suck at your job. And it doesn't matter how many years of experience you have if you're stupid and you're not good at your job because you can't read a book. All right? Anybody can spray water at a fire. That's easy. All right? That's easy. I've met a lot of them. And I'm not saying anything bad about firefighters. I think they're incredible. I think that the problem is the people that are up at the top that are idiots. All right? And they make it worse for everybody down below. That's just plain and simple, man. All right. So basically, after all of that, and then I send a couple more letters to the state rep, I get some responses back. And some people say, yeah, I mean, obviously it looks like what you can burn, you should be able to burn, but there's like something we have to work out because we're not really sure who has the exact authority. And I'm like, okay, well then why do they put a thing on the website that says you can burn on specific days very clearly? Today's also one of them, and yesterday was. There's only been like 3 or 4. And it's 105 degrees a couple days ago. People that live up on the mountain can burn because they get their rules from somebody else. All these farmers, they don't give a shit about whether or not it's 102 degrees. They're burning their fields. You know why? They have to make a crop and they have to make money. That is a no-brainer, bro. No-brainer. So how does that affect me with a teeny tiny little fire in comparison? Stupid. Okay. So finally, all right, that's where I left it. But then I sent a couple more messages to my state rep. And then I called the guy one more time and I said, listen, stop driving by my house, because he's driving by every single day. I said, at this point, I do believe that I'm in the right and I can burn this, but I'm not going to burn it because of the fact that now it's 100 degrees and it's also windy. And I'm not going to burn on a windy day because then it's going to blow across the, well, it probably still wouldn't, but it could blow across the street and I can wait a couple days because I literally have like 5 or 6 more days. So I'm like, I'll just wait. And I'll tell my partner who wants to come cut my field and spend thousands of dollars in lime and all this crap to get this field going that I need him to wait an extra week. So do you know what he does? He goes and cuts some other fields because he's got contracts with other people. All right, no problem, no problem, no problem. I'll do more work here. I'll expand the field more. I'll turn this stuff into piles. And then he comes over and he's like, my man, he shows up with this big old tractor and I'm like, shoot, are you gonna cut this? And he's like, yeah, I want to. And I say, dang it, bro. This fire guy's still not wanting me to burn and still threatening to sue me, man. So I'm like, I don't know what to do because I know that I have the authority to burn this. He hasn't said anything except for those 2 items at this point, right? It's not the right material. I proved that wrong. Now I'm not a farmer. I just have to prove I'm a farmer. Easy to do, okay? But listen, I got 5 years of my life. I got freaking brain cancer. And this guy still wants to fight me because he's a retarded asshole. That's it. Period, plain and simple. There's freaking stuff burning all around me. Nobody else is burning. Are you stupid? Go outside and look. You're sitting in your AC'd office right now. Look outside. You're going to see 20 different farmers burning. I mean, he already knows. That's obvious. He's just stupid. And that's all I can say. So he is stupid. But I also believe he is stupid because of this. Whatever. So I email my state representative again. I call a couple more people. I call another local guy. Yeah, you can burn. It's no problem. If I was you, I would light it up because if he tries to come over there and sue you, he's going to lose. What would the point of that be? He's probably just threatening you, trying to scare you. Burn it, man. I would just burn it. So I'm like, okay, dude, maybe I should just burn this thing. But I'm like, gosh, dude, I don't have time to waste on this. And I believe he's the kind of person that would try to sue me just because he's a jackass. That's freaking stupid, man. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to have to do something different. So I call up the county and I say, listen, I have this massive ditch that I want you to clean out anyways that you haven't cleaned out for freaking the whole time I've lived here, 10 years. You haven't put $1 into this and I've been paying taxes for the last 10 years. You don't do anything to help me. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So here we go. Get me on your list and I want you to grade my entire ditch because it's flooding and I don't want to deal with it anymore. And the guy I work with, one of my other local farmers that has a dad and he lives right next to me who's helping me with some of this because I'm kind of brain dead right now. He's like, man, this is the worst, I can only call it a field, but it's that thing right there, ditch that I've ever seen, man. They don't even take care of it. And on top of that, I'm the one cleaning it all up. I'm the one spending my own money cleaning it because when they come by, they just destroy it all and they blow it right into my ditch and it builds up. And people dump garbage over here and people dump garbage over there and it's filling up my whole ditch. And so then because of that, and that's been like 4 years and they haven't come over here and cleaned it. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen them drive by before. In fact, I've seen them stop several times before. Do you think they pick it up? No. Why? Because they know I'll probably deal with it because I want to keep things nice. Does that make sense? So I'm like, all right, cool, perfect. Here's what happens. That fire chief, this might not be true. That's just hearsay, but it's what I think. The day I had that first problem, guess who stops by? The county. They know I'm cleaning this ditch. I already told them. But they come over and they start whining about me cleaning the ditch. So now I got to think it's because of the fire chief. Does that make sense? Maybe that's not true. Then I remember I've got a permit, man. Do you know what I'm building? A barn. So that if there's a problem with storage of my crop, I can store it in a frickin' barn, all right? Why would I build a barn on frickin' agricultural land to store grass seed? I mean, only a moron can't put those things together, whatever. But guess who that's got to also go through? Fire guy. So now I start thinking to myself, I better get ahead of this. So I email my state rep and I say, look, I'm about to spend thousands of dollars building a building. He's going to approve this. And I feel like he's going to stop it because he already, I think, called the county and on and on and on. And I'm like, listen, I cannot have this guy slow down my entire operation because he just wants to be an asshole now. And I think I'm a pretty nice guy. I'm definitely a nice guy to everybody else. Whatever. So I just can't deal with stupid people like this. This is so dumb. I do not have any patience anymore for stuff like this. Why did we ever get to this level where we hire this massive government bureaucracy who doesn't even care about us? All they do is suck our money away, and they don't even do anything to help us because they all get big and fat, sitting in their little air conditioning places. You know what I mean? It's like so dumb. And I have no problem with people getting big and fat, and I'm kind of like a little bit big and fat. I mean, I'm not too fat, but I still weigh 200 pounds, so I'm kind of fat. I'm going to get skinny again, but I can't work out yet because of this brain damage thing. But once I can, man, I'm going to pump it up again. That's irrelevant to this situation. So I call this guy again. He answers the phone immediately. And I'm like, bro, can we just talk about this and get over it? And he's like, yes, I would love to. And I say, perfect then, because as much as you want to get over it, I probably want to get over it 50 times more because you're not my wife and I don't want to think about you anymore. I think about you every night. I think about you every morning. Basically, all I think about is you because you couldn't tell me yes or no. This seems so dumb that you can't tell me yes or no. And you still can't tell me yes or no. Do you know what I'm saying? That tells me one thing about this life. If that guy can't tell me yes or no, he should have zero authority. And he should tell me, go to this website. If it says you can burn, burn. And guess what? If the liability is me, then it's my liability. And if I burn this massive fire and it does nothing, then you cried like a baby over nothing. If it burns my field, if it goes over to my neighbors, blah, 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 we'll probably put it out. And then guess what'll happen? Nothing. Because every house that I could possibly damage is thousands of feet away, except for mine. So who's at risk? One person, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. So what liability does he have? I'm literally paying him taxes to put out fires. And if he's that worried about it, stick a water truck here like you told me you would, okay? So basically, I tell everybody, hey, I'm gonna burn this fire. I'm tired of waiting. I have the authority to burn it. I want him to do what he told me from day one. Get a water tender out here and just get a guy to sit here. You already told me you would do it. Let's just go for it, bro. This literally is gonna take 3 hours or less because 90% of it is freaking grass. This is so dumb, like so dumb. Okay, whatever. So I call him and I say, my man, let's deal with this finally. I said, first of all, let me apologize. I can only speak the way I can speak. I don't know all the different words yet, but now that it's been 4 or 5 days, I am smarter and I can talk better, but you need to understand, I'm not like you, I'm a different person and you need to understand that. So with you knowing this information, let's move forward that if I say something and you think that I'm calling you a jackass or any of that kind of stuff, that's just the only word I can say to describe what I'm trying to say that you can understand. And otherwise I would sound like this. Because that's all the other words I know. You'd not even know what I'm talking about, bro. So I'm like, my man, can you allow me to go through the whole process with you, get on the same page so that we can move past all this and figure out what the next plan of action is. And also I tell him right before that, I emailed him and I said, I want a letter. No more of you telling me something. I want it on paper because if I got to protect myself / possibly sue you, whatever it's got to be, I want it on paper and I want your name on it and I want it to be your fault. Okay. I don't want to hear anymore that you can make up some bullshit and then go to the judge and be like, oh, that's not what I meant. He's just retarded. Because I'm definitely retarded. So that's going to be a no-brainer for him to, come up with some BS. And I wish he would have done that with everyone because he would have looked like an absolute idiot. The best I got is recordings. And luckily he told me I could record it. So I'm pretty sure, I don't know what the laws are in Oregon. I just don't know. But also the government gave me a free application because I have to use it when I call people. Otherwise I have no clue what I'm saying or what the history is, or I forget immediately. Just like this whole conversation is a long time and I forgot half of what I've even said. That's how insane my life is right now. Okay. Look at my dog. She's just chilling with me the whole time. That's a good puppy. Hi, baby girl. Yeah, my dogs are like my help dogs right now. It's the only thing keeping me mental because if I wasn't, I'd probably be screaming like a baby. Whoo, and this tractor. I don't know why I like this tractor so much, but it's my neighbor's tractor and it's spring loaded. It's like super nice and all I do is drive it in circles for no reason and it's costing me money, but it makes me feel so good. It just makes me feel good, whatever. So I got off track again. Okay, let me tell you my whole rant is what I tell this guy. This is where we started. You came over. You said it wasn't ag debris. I proved that it was ag debris. Then you said I'm not a farmer. Wow, I'm doing this really good. I proved that I could be a farmer, and I'm not worried about you trying to sue me still. So now what level are you going to try to bring up to say that I can't burn this pile? Do you know what it gets down to? Now I can't burn. This is what he should have started with in the beginning. But once again, idiot. Okay? Finally, he read some information, right? He talked to his buddies, and his buddies were like, oh, I know how you might be able to get around this, maybe. But I haven't even researched this at all yet because I've just been busy trying to take my mind off it. But I'm not going to be able to. Now that's why I'm making this video, because I need someone else who can help me, somebody who can maybe understand this and tell me without being a liar what's right and what's wrong, because now I can't believe this guy. And no one else will help me, including the state representative at this point, because I don't think they know either, because the laws are so freaking jacked out. And none of them are going to tell me that I have the authority or not. Even though they tell me I have the authority, they won't put it on paper. And we all know why, because nobody will actually take responsibility. Brain dead, brain dead. And if you look up where I live, you can immediately tell that I'm not at any risk to anybody. But this is why I can't burn now. It's because I am a public risk, something like that. If I start that fire, and I'm just like, dude, I didn't even argue with him because I knew that's so retarded. But now at least I got it on paper because he thinks that the pile's too big. So I did some more research, and I saw technically, even though I see way bigger piles being burnt, and I've also burnt some in the past without a problem, based on the website for Department of Agriculture, it has to be a little bit of a smaller pile. So what I needed to do is take a pile that was maybe 50 feet by 20 feet and divide it up into like 4 separate piles. And then I would also clearly be defined in that code range. And you can obviously get around it because I literally saw a pile that's just as big as mine burning today on a day that says you can burn, and many other people burning. I thought there was a burn ban. I thought you can't burn. Clearly, I don't see that guy over there. So what's happening? How can those guys burn, but I can't burn for some reason? That's all I'm saying. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. All right. So tell him my whole spiel. Then he tells me why. And I say, send me a piece of paper. And the piece of paper says I can't because it's like a risk. All right. So then if I cut it in half, is it a risk? If I cut it in half of that, is it a risk? If I cut it in half of that, is it still a risk? Like at what level? Okay, this is also something super retarded that I just remembered. He said the only thing they're allowing is 2 different kinds of burning right now. Why would that even matter? If you can burn, you can burn. And especially if it's on private property, protected private property, where I've wasted time and money building fire protection. Clearly, this guy's 30 years experience was sitting behind a desk. I mean, that's pretty straightforward, and he doesn't know how to read a book. I mean, that's basic, bro. Oh, so stupid. But I ask him, okay, so you say I can have fires, right? I can have like backyard fires. Okay, so how many fires can I have? As many as you want, basically. So I'm like, okay, I'll cut this into 400 piles, and I'll burn it all then. I guess. You know what I mean? It's like, are you dumb? What kind of an idiot tells me I can burn it, but I can't burn it? I can burn it in one way, but not in another way. I mean, this is getting so dumb. Do you know what I mean? So dumb, bro. What is this guy? Is he real? Is this the real world? Am I in a video game? Am I like, maybe I'm not alive right now. Maybe this isn't even real, and I forgot the name for it, but maybe I'm like underneath still. Do you know what I mean? Like it's been yesterday, and I still am like, I'm not awoke yet. Maybe this is actually a crazy dream. That's kind of how I think of it now. I mean, that's literally what everything kind of thinks like. But I'm like, bro, what is happening here? So that's the place I'm at right now. I got a letter. I can't burn, public nuisance or whatever, but I can't wait. So do you know what I've already done? I basically got a machine. I spent $300 in 3 days. Well, more than that, actually, because I spent, I think, $700 total, including fuel. And if I include my time to drive in and all that other kind of BS, I probably spent almost $4,000 at this point total shipping all this stuff. Okay. Because I got to get it done. I can't wait for him. And I pushed it into my ditch out of the way because my farmer said he was going to cut all this crap. And I was like, bro, can you do anything else? And he's like, no, I'm coming over. And I'm like, well, I hope you're doing it because I can't freaking drive that stupid thing without probably wrecking it. And then he's like, yeah, but I'm only bringing the $100,000 machine over here, the old one. So I could probably help him. So he brings it over and then he goes, oh, you got all this crap still? And I'm like, yes, dude, I'm having a problem. He goes, okay, well, then I'll just go to the next field. And you know what I do? I call the counter and I say, man, can I push all this crap into your field? I will dig it back out. I'll clean it back up. I need at least a week. He's like, yeah, that's not a problem, man. You already cleaned up what you said you were going to. It looked good, blah, 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 blah. We're good to go. So I pushed it all in the field, out of the way, called that guy, said, my man, do it. And then he said, hey, I just got the numbers back and I am, in fact, going to pay to put some extra stuff in there, like some poop and stuff like that. And he's like, you have like 3 days. So I'm like, all right, if I only have 3 days, and this is on this weekend, because today's a weekend. I can't tell you the actual day it is because I don't know that stuff. I can't tell you the time either because I have no clue. I don't know how long it's been or any of that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, my man. So I push it in the ditch. It's out of the way, and I'll finish cleaning up the rest of it. I'll do all the field cleanup this year, and I'll get everything else ready so we can expand this field. I'll deal with all of that because that's easy for me. But you're going to have to be the guy that does basically the rest this first year, all right? And he's a pretty cool guy. So he's like, okay, well, we'll have to come up with a different arrangement for payment, blah, 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 because I'm doing more work. And I'm like, dude, that's totally fine. So I won't make as much money. So in the grand scheme of things, because of this brain damage, I won't make enough money because I got to make him do all the work because I'm worried I'll break a machine. I just can't do things fast enough with my left and my right like I could normally. I just can't. So it just doesn't work right. And it's not worth it. And if I don't get better by next year, I'm probably going to have to work out a different arrangement with him. And all I can do is all the field maintenance. That's about as good as I can do. I can maintain the field. I can spray down the stuff. I can keep rid of the weeds. I can basically do all the basic stuff. I'm building new fences, all that kind of stuff. All right. So that's what I can do. Basic, but that's still a farmer. I got like 20 chickens. Okay. I don't know what the classification is of farmers and all this kind of bull crap. Because also my property is exclusive DFU protected farmland. All right. So I can't even do the things I want to in some situations because it's farmland. And my taxes are different because of that, even though my taxes are still like $10,000, which is freaking absolutely retarded. And there's so many more things I got to talk about with all of that. I think that's basically the whole story. I'm probably forgetting a lot of stuff, and this is way longer than I wanted it to be. But like I said, man, when I get on something, I have to talk about it the whole way because otherwise I can't get over it. So by the end of the day, I'm going to release a couple more videos about all this kind of stuff, this time with pictures, images, whatever, so that I can prove my case. And hopefully one of those attorney guys on the internet can just get back to me and tell me, am I wrong? Am I right? What can I do about it? Can I do anything? And if I can't do anything about it, I need somebody who's an honest adult to tell me that, because that guy, I don't ever want to talk with him again because I already apologized to him. I said, let's shake hands. Let's move on. I'm not going to burn it. Leave me alone and don't come to my house. Do you know what he did 2 days later? Drove by my motherfucking house and I was outside working. Do you think that he was a man and he stopped to shake my hand and be like, man, I know that you don't want me to drive by your house, but I do have to do my job. And even though I'm retarded and I can't figure out that there's 2 other roads that go right by your house and I could see if it was burning, I literally had to drive right by you, 14 feet by you, because I'm an idiot. And then he slows down, and after he passes me, he slows down. He drives so slow looking at what I put in the ditch. So slow. He can definitely see me riding up on him on my tractor to explain it to him, because I already know that he's a stupid little pussy and he's about to call his buddy that works for the road department and try to turn me in. And so I immediately just emailed this guy this huge story, because the problem that I have is that I'm pretty chill right now just talking on this phone about it. But when that happened, it clicked in me, man. And I got so upset. I started shaking. My heart was hurting and I almost had a seizure. And so I always have a helper with me right now because I have to have somebody with me basically 24/7. Because if I have a seizure, I'll just die. And you have to like shove this thing up my nose that's custom made for me. And they're still trying to work out all my seizure meds. So I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow to talk about that, which is a whole separate thing, but whatever. Plus, one of the meds I'm taking, I can't tell you what it is because I don't remember, causes me, like, part of the problem I have right now. It makes me extremely, I wouldn't say the word is aggressive, but it turns me into like a 3-year-old baby and I scream like I want candy. And then I get upset and I cuss at people. It's like Tourette's or something. It's kind of weird. I'm not physically aggressive, but I'm only a level behind that. And if that guy pushes me, or if he stopped and got on my property and did anything to me, I probably would have beat the shit out of him. And I don't want to do that. but I don't have like a choice. I mean, like, I am not here anymore. That thing takes over, which is what I already explained to these people like 1,000 times. Yet they still don't tell that guy, yo, don't drive by his house, because otherwise we're going to back him up, and Oregon's not going to protect you from being a jackass. That's what it should be. So I've called the sheriff a couple times, talked to him about the situation. They can't do jack shit about it, which I totally understand because it's a public road. But that guy could go over there and see that I'm not burning. He could go on that road right there, which I don't care about, see that I'm not burning. He could have stopped all the way at this other road and saw that I'm not burning, and I never even would have seen him. And he could have stopped and drove straight to that main road and then drove around here and still saw that I'm not burning. And as far as I know, he is a fire guy, right? He doesn't work for Department of Agriculture. He doesn't work for the guys that deal with the county roads. Why is he over here looking at that? Okay, there's one reason, because he's a jackass. He's trying to cause me problems. He's trying to watch me. He's still trying to beat me for some reason. And I guarantee you right now, he's not going to. And now I can't stop. I wanted to forgive him. I tried to forgive him. I said I'd shake his hand. I said all these things, and I got over it. And then he drives by my house yet again. Why? Why? I'm the only house here. And I own the road from basically where my house starts all the way to the end. Why are you driving by my house? For what purpose? There's only one purpose. Because you're a jackass. Bye.